While millions of people casually pick up ringing phones without a second thought, there's a massive group of people who stare at their screen, watch it ring, and feel their chest tighten. And according to psychology, this isn't rudeness, laziness, or bad manners. Their brains might actually be wired differently. Stay with me, because what I'm about to explain will completely change how you see people who never answer calls. Here's the thing nobody talks about. Avoiding phone calls doesn't mean you're antisocial. It doesn't mean you don't like people. And it definitely doesn't mean you're bad at communication. But there is something very interesting happening in your brain that's completely different from people who can talk on the phone for hours. Let's start with the obvious question. Why do some people hate phone calls so much? A phone call is one of the most psychologically demanding forms of communication. You have no visual cues, no time to think, no control over the pace, no way to pause. Your brain is forced into real-time social performance, and for some people that's exhausting. Psychologists call this high cognitive load communication. When you're on a call, your brain has to process tone of voice, predict responses, form sentences instantly, manage emotions, maintain politeness, and think about what to say next, all at the same time. It's like social multitasking at maximum speed. Now here's where it gets interesting. People who avoid phone calls often score higher in something called reflective processing. They prefer to think before they speak. They like organizing their thoughts. They communicate better when given time, which is why texting feels comfortable. Texting allows editing, pausing, thinking, responding calmly. A phone call removes all of that safety and the brain perceives that as pressure. But wait, it gets deeper. There's something called anticipatory anxiety. The moment the phone starts ringing, your brain doesn't think, oh, someone wants to talk. It thinks something unexpected is about to happen and I'm not prepared, because a call is unpredictable. You don't know what they want, how long it will last, what mood they're in, what you'll be asked. That uncertainty triggers a mild stress response. Your heart rate increases slightly, your alertness spikes, not enough to be panic, but enough to feel uncomfortable. Studies show that unpredictable social interaction activates the same alert system as small threats. Your brain treats it like a mini emergency. Now compare that to a message. A message waits. It doesn't demand immediate performance. It gives you control. And for certain brains, control equals calm. Here's something most people misunderstand. Phone avoidant people are not bad communicators. They're often better communicators in written form, because their strength is clarity, not speed. They value saying the right thing, not the fast thing. But there's another layer. Phone calls are deeply personal. You can hear breathing, pauses, tone shifts. There's intimacy in voice that some people find overwhelming, especially people who are emotionally sensitive or highly perceptive. They pick up on subtle tones, mood changes, micro-emotions, and processing all of that in real time is mentally draining. So the brain learns, avoid this, it's tiring, and over time it becomes a habit. Now here's where childhood plays a role. For some people, phone calls growing up were associated with stress, bad news, serious talks, authority, pressure, so their brain quietly linked ringing phone with something unpleasant is coming. They may not even realize this connection, but the body remembers. And then there's personality. Introverts and deep thinkers often prefer low stimulation communication. A phone call is high stimulation, voices, emotions, immediate responses. Text is low stimulation, calm, quiet, controlled. But here's the part that explains so much. Phone lovers experience connection through conversation. Phone avoiders experience connection through understanding. One group bonds by talking, the other bonds by thinking. Neither is wrong. They're just different communication styles. Psychologists call this synchronous versus asynchronous communication preference. Synchronous is live, immediate, like calls. Asynchronous is delayed, like messages. And people who avoid calls often thrive in asynchronous communication because it matches how their brain naturally processes the world. Slow, thoughtful, intentional. Here's something surprising. People who avoid phone calls often report feeling more socially drained after calls than after meeting someone in person, because in person they can read faces, gestures, body language. On the phone they're guessing, and guessing is exhausting. So what does all this mean? If you hate answering calls, you're not rude, you're not antisocial, you're not weird. Your brain simply prefers communication with space, clarity, and control. The next time your phone rings and you feel that instant hesitation, remember, you're not avoiding people. You're avoiding a style of interaction that doesn't match how your mind works, and that's perfectly okay. If this felt uncomfortably accurate, you'll probably relate to why some people feel drained after socializing, even when they like the people they're with. Check the next video to understand how your brain processes social energy very differently from most people.